Everyone, happy hump day. Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff, still kind of feeling a little bit, you know, but I'm the only one in the weather lab today. No Zach, no Josh. Josh is actually right now tuning in, and he is, boy, feeling about what I did not too long ago. The flu, man, it's a bad strain this year. And, well, yeah, Josh, I know that you're having fun with that as well. So sorry, I've been kind of a little out of pocket, but shout out to Peyton and Zach for holding down the fort. Zach stepping up to the plate yesterday, doing all the shows himself. Peyton working this morning. Peyton's working tomorrow morning. And speaking of tomorrow morning, we've got thunderstorm potential that's going to be brewing. So the flu strain A is what I had, influenza A, and so thankfully I can't give you that over the camera, and I'm still congested and having trouble breathing, and I'm not 100%. But yeah, I got to hit the ground running because we got storms ahead, and we got multiple rounds of storm chances, and we already saw some thunderstorm activity pop up today in southern sections of our weather coverage area. Basically, southern Scott County was the thunderstorm activity that developed. Now, I want to show you this as we look at our severe weather risk. I'm going to take you through 3 rounds of thunderstorms. And so, just to kind of give you a breakdown of what you can expect. So, we got 3 rounds of thunderstorms possible. Um, Before we do that, I got to show you this. If you haven't heard, we got our WeatherBug Network camera at Gaither Mountain, and it's all set up and ready to rock and roll. And there you get to see the view from Gaither Mountain. So we've got an amazing view looking off to basically in all directions, but that's going to be getting some activity. I did catch a very cool time lapse of thunderstorms from it yesterday, and I will give you the breakdown of the forecast, but I feel like I've got to show you this because this is going to be such an important part of our weather coverage. And stand by. I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to pull it up on the screen, and I think you're going to love this. I think this is going to be worth the wait. So we'll go back to our weather graphics here. And last night, as I was still recovering from the flu, I got this bad boy. Check this out. This is the time lapse from this storm. So this is the start of it, and we'll put this baby in motion. And I think you're gonna like what you see. Look at that. Now wait a minute here. I'm noticing that it's choppy. It's real choppy, and it's choppy on the screen. So that tells me 2 things. Number one, I got to reboot the computers because they're not working properly, because that's a lot smoother than that shows. So that's not good. Um, yeah, it's a much better time lapse than that, but it is so choppy. So that's good to know. I will reboot the computer after the 7 o'clock news because that should be a lot smoother. Well, anyways, that's what happens sometimes when these computers are running a long time. That was super choppy. Not worth it. All right, let's get back to the weather graphics here. Here's the thunderstorm risk for overnight tonight and into the morning. So notice there's not really a severe weather threat for us. However, the farther south you go in southern Lafleur County, you've got the risk of severe weather. This is some storms that could pop up. Now, if we look at the timing of this is overnight into Thursday morning before 7 a.m. Yeah, maybe the computers have the flu as well. Yeah, they got a virus of some sort. But there's a look at the storm risk. All right, now I'm going to take you through this. So I would expect thunderstorms to develop as early as about shortly after midnight. And so here's a look at the storm activity that starts to move in. Yeah, it is an awesome location, Case, and I'm super excited about it. And I know you've got one as well. And here's a look at the future track from our high resolution rapid refresh model showing those thunderstorms popping up. So we have a thing called isentropic upglide. It's a fancy word or phrase, a weather phrase for just saying that we're going to have rising motion. That rising motion will tap into the elevated instability, And so hail and damaging winds going to be the main threat with these storms. So you can see 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening going till about 7:30 in the morning. Thunderstorms still possible, but that main threat for severe weather, as you can see, will be focused a little bit farther south. This is where the storms are just a little stronger. It's because they have a little more ingredients to work with. Now, after that storm system moves through, then it's going to turn into a widespread rain and thunderstorm event. Now, if you look at the severe weather risk for the day 2 outlook, you'll notice a level 1 that clips our western weather coverage area and a good portion of the central coverage area too. This is for Thursday morning through Friday morning. That's when the risk is valid for. I think the main threat, though, from this severe weather risk will be Thursday night as a wave of energy swings in. Let me show you what I mean. So, any one of these storms could be strong to severe. However, the greatest potential is going to be when this energy in Oklahoma moves eastward and moves into our area for Friday early morning. So there's a look at widespread rain. We're talking 1 to 2 inches of rain, not out of the question. We need it. We got 7 burn bans in the state, including Madison and Washington and Carroll County. Those counties are under burn bans, according to the county judge, but I think that's going to change. And then you're going to see here Friday morning. So remember that severe weather risk for the day 2 goes from 7 a.m. Thursday to 7 a.m. Friday. And this is when we see that severe weather potential ramp up. It's right here in the early morning hours on Friday when that wave of energy swings in. Now, that's going to intensify widespread rain and thunderstorm activity. As you can see, this still continues with that. And that just becomes widespread rain. But by Friday late morning, it looks like that wave will move out. We get sunshine. We have more instability. And guess what? We got another severe weather risk. So that's 3 thunderstorm threats. They're back to back to back. Day 1, day 2, day 3. And the day 3 is for Friday afternoon into the evening. I hope you're following all this with the timing, but we'll break it down for you a little bit more in detail. So here's a look at the level 2. Level 2 is where the instability is a little greater, is a little more moisture to work with. There's a little bit better ingredients and stronger wind shear aloft. So that starts nudging into I-40 and the River Valley as well as the Washitas. However, the level 1, Bella Vista, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Carroll County, Boone County, Newton County, that's under the level 1 as of now. That still means thunderstorms are going to be possible, and that threat area could change. So here's a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. This is the only way that we can go out far enough in order to see these thunderstorms, but there you get to see them blossoming. And this is when the bulk of the energy moves in. So we have all these initial rounds of storms from this system that moves eastward. And then you could see that those thunderstorms start popping up during the early to mid-afternoon. This is where the greatest potential will be for severe weather. Now, Jacob has a question. He's always wondering about increasing the threat, and rightfully so, Jacob, because you are right. That could be nudged farther north. No doubt about that. Right now, I think it's good where it's at, but I do think there's going to be storm threat everywhere. And then you can see that storm system start moving east. So it moves out pretty quick. So Friday afternoon into the evening going to be the main threat. Also will continue with some rain in the early morning hours on Saturday. So to break all that down, I will show you what we've got here. And we'll show you the graph model as well. So here's a look at kind of a severe weather headlines that I made for you, just to break down everything. So storm chances after midnight, that's for tonight and into the morning. Widespread rain likely for Thursday. That's where the severe weather threat isn't as great, but still a storm or two could be severe. We'll go through the rain totals. A couple of severe storms Thursday night. That's when we have that potential for the level 1 for the day 2 is basically Thursday night into Friday morning. And then those severe storm chances increase as that energy swings in Friday afternoon. Any chance for a tornado in Bentonville? Well, we don't know that yet. It's too far out, and there's no way to say exactly what cities are going to be impacted before storms develop 48 hours in advance. So kind of the typical, predicting severe weather stuff. And TJ, always time for the Fayetteville Fizzle. There's always time for that. But you can see the amount of energy that's swinging in. And if we look at the water vapor, it's a pretty tightly compact system. So there's a lot of pieces of energy that are going to be moving in, and they already get started overnight tonight, bringing that potential for storms. Laura, yes. And in matter of fact, I got good news on the pollen front. We are going to be giving the pollen forecast starting on Friday. We get it from Hedberg Allergy and Asthma Clinic. So we'll be getting that. Yeah, the pollen is bad. You can hear I'm congested, but it's not from pollen. It is just from me being sick. It's also tough to breathe, Josh. I don't know if you're feeling that as well, but it's tough to do weather because you use that broadcast voice and you're talking so loud, and it's just tough to get it all out. But there's a look at the energy. There's a lot of jet stream energy, so anything's possible with the potential for some rain. And then you can see that system start moving eastward, and by Friday afternoon into the evening, that jet stream starts marching east. So it's getting ready for gardening weather, although we will have another freeze in March. Not only do we have another freeze, but it happens on Sunday. I think we're going to see a freeze on Sunday. So I'll give you a taste of the 7-day forecast since you're on here. We got a lot of people that are on here. So there's the storm chances tomorrow morning, Thursday night into Friday morning, Friday afternoon into the early evening. So now you got an idea, 3 rounds of storms. Now, there could be storms at any time on Friday and also Thursday in the middle of the day, but those are just the most likely time for storms. See what happens on Sunday morning? Well, the front comes through, northwesterly winds going to clear out the moisture, high pressure shifts in, and that's what's going to allow the temperature to plummet. So that gives you an idea. And then next week, we have storm potential coming back. So definitely an active weather forecast, no doubt about that. Yeah, body aches are terrible. I know. I hear you. We've got the instability because we got the moisture. So dew points are in the 50s. Got some deeper moisture to the south. Now, there is going to be, I think, maybe even an enhanced threat farther south in Louisiana. I just don't know if it makes it here, but it could. It just all depends on what takes place. So I'm ready for some spring storms. Honestly, the storms tonight will be welcome relief because I don't know if you know this or not, but we have burn bans that are in effect. And here's the very latest burn ban map. So 7 counties in all in Arkansas, which is a lot less than the 29 counties that we had last week when we were having all that fire danger. So if we zip in here, Carroll, Madison, Washington County under countywide burn bans, I think those are going to be lifted, though, by the end of the week. So that's a good question, Matthew. Was going to hike Big Bluff on Friday. Will Saturday morning be okay? Yeah, Saturday morning will be good to do the hike. But here's why you don't want to be doing that on Friday or Thursday, because we got some rain coming. And they actually upped this just a little bit. So that shows you the system's increasing in intensity. When you get to these purples right here, you got 1.75, 1.5 to 1.75 for this contour, 1.75 to 2, and then you got the deeper purple, which is 2 to 2.5. And so here's a 2, 2.5, and then that gets 2.5 to 3 right there in areas of eastern sections of the river valley, which makes sense because the storms might be a little more intense. So when you have the stronger storms, then you get severe weather potential and you get heavier rain. So if we do a breakdown of this with all the different modeling, which you can't do, I just don't seem to have enough time to do during the newscasts. But here's a look at the rain accumulation and the different models showing the different precipitation amounts. So the graph showing overall about 2 inches of rain over the next 3 days. River Valley has less. That's because it doesn't have the storms as much for Friday in the River Valley. European, about 1 inch to 2 inches, inch to inch and a half. That seems reasonable. GFS, pretty much about the same, 1/2 inch to 2 inches. And the NAM has less in northwest Arkansas with just about 2 inches for the NAM. So, the rain chances are likely. Now, the only reason I didn't go 100%, even though for the day we can go 100%, I don't exactly know when the entire weather coverage area is going to be covered with rain. But here's a breakdown of the timing. And so you're going to notice here 90% for the precipitation chances. And so it starts ramping up after midnight. Could even pop up as early as 10 o'clock tonight. I don't think that happens, so I think it's mainly after midnight. And then you can see it really cranking up in the early morning hours on Thursday, throughout Thursday late morning. Probably morning commute time will be your best chance for rain and storms. Then it drops off because we get that system to move out. Doesn't drop off completely, but tapers off a little bit. And then Friday in the early morning hours, there's that marginal risk for severe weather. Now you notice it drops off. Well, why would it drop off? Because we're in between systems and then it picks back up. I'm going to do some fine adjusting to this, but well, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, the newest risk just came out. So good point, Josh. I'm going to be checking that out. We were already in the marginal in the river valley. Let me see if it's changed. Oh, there you go. Lovely. So there it is. The severe weather threat has increased. So we'll just redo all that. Thank you for letting me know about that. I was just about ready to check it because it just came out. So now we just basically have marginal threat for it's going to be wind and hail, going to be the main threats. Mostly hail because it's elevated instability. And we're talking quarter size hail, 1 inch, nothing bigger than that. Just a noisy night. If we do see hail bigger than that, it would be like, $0.50 at the most, which would be 1.25, which is severe criteria. If we look at the tornado potential, it's non-existent. Now, for the day 2 convective outlook, you can see that tornado potential does exist off to the west. This is for Thursday morning to Friday early morning. So it's that system that's moving east. And then obviously the probabilities for Friday get a little bit bigger. And there's good reason for that because the instability is going to be a little greater. And how do we know that? Well, we look at the dew points, which I will show you right here. So watch these deeper greens. We haven't seen dark greens like this in a long time come back, and it's looking like it is. But at the same time, all that thunderstorm activity to the north is going to stunt the moisture return and keep it a little bit farther south. But there you got dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s, even some mid 70s. That's some pretty stout moisture, but probably not making it into northwest Arkansas. So there's a look at that energy swinging out. Okay, so that pretty much breaks down everything in terms of timing and threats and forecast. And I've got to do some adjustments to this. But yeah, just be ready for some thunderstorms tonight. Oh, real quick, look at the graph because I got to get going to do this 7 o'clock newscast. Here is first of all, we'll start off with the 3-kilometer graph model. And doesn't have anything before midnight. It does start developing storms during the early morning. So a little bit of a lightning show. Bet you our Gaither Mountain camera is going to be getting to work out. And then you see those storms. Now, the thing is this model isn't going to get the development location perfectly, but it does show you where storms are going to be possible. And you can turn on the lights, by the way, because I know we're getting close to newscast. Yeah. And then there's Thursday morning storm chances, a lot of rain, clears out Thursday evening, which makes sense. Here's that second wave right here. This is where you have that severe weather potential in the early morning hours on Friday. And then Saturday morning, I don't think is going to be 26, 27. That's too cold, too early. But Sunday morning going to be 26, 27. Now look at this energy swinging in. You can actually physically see it as the upper level winds increase. And then there's where that severe weather potential ramps up right here. You can see where that energy swings in, and those storms are going to be the strongest. That's a surface based storm. There is a non zero tornado threat to watch. So after that, it moves out. Then we get colder. This model even wants to try to break out a little bit of a wintry mix in the higher elevations. And I'm not opposed to that. I think the temperature is going to drop, but it's not going to be a major deal. But maybe some people seeing a little bit of some snow on the backside of that system as it moves out. But yeah, you can definitely see that energy swinging in. And I'm swinging out because I've got to go because we got a 7 o'clock newscast in like 2 minutes. So, Zach, you can turn on the lights and I will see you guys later. No Facebook Live tonight unless storms look very likely because I need to get some rest. I still need God to do some healing. And so, wife's orders to come back and get healthy unless these storms start blowing up and becoming a little more intense than previously thought. But just a loud night expected, some small hail. Tornado threat is non-existent tonight, which is good news. But Thursday night into Friday morning storms and then Friday evening. Josh, you get better too, and we'll take care. Have a good one. Bye.